You ever have one of those moments where you think to yourself, is it just me? Am I the only one seeing this? Does anyone else see this? Right? I had that experience last night at the arena during the Republican debate in Milwaukee. Some phenomenon happened. And I was like, what is going on here? This is really confusing. Am I the only one? And I felt like the only one. Until I read a column in The Spectator today by our friend Matthew Foldi, who was also there. And apparently I wasn't the only one, Matt Foldi. Thank you for joining us.
Now, look, Larry, I don't know what voices you're hearing in your head. Those may still be things that don't exist. But you are right. The debate itself, which was kicked off by an incredible performance by yourself at the YAF tent outside, the debate itself had a very, I would almost say, schizophrenic audience, it felt like.
Multiple personalities.
So there would be,
yeah, let me lay it out real fast. The crowd, 6,000 strong, boisterously cheered a candidate, and within 30 seconds was loudly booing them like they were Satan. And by the way, they were cheering and booing opposite sides of the same issue at various times.
This is the way I categorized it. And one thing that is important to note, what you and I are talking about really is only evident to the people who were in the debate stage. If you were watching it on TV, and that was why I wanted to give sort of the here's what you missed if you weren't inside the arena kind of perspective. So if you were there, you would actually at times not be able to even hear the presidential candidates speak. When Nikki Haley was kind of taking it to Vivek Ramaswamy on foreign policy, I, and perhaps you as well, literally could not hear a word he said. And that was when I realized, okay, maybe there's something kind of going on here. And to give kind of viewers one other inside the room point, right before the debate start, a drone zoomed towards the stage. Yeah. And I, for one, was freaking out. There was no advance warning that this was to get a crowd shot. I thought, is there something kind of really bad?
No, I thought it was the Chi-Coms. I thought we were all dead. I thought we were all dead, Matt. Yeah.
Fortunately, we're still here, though. But you're right. The way I described the boos is you would have within 30 seconds, it would be pro-Trump applause. Then it would be anti-Trump booing. Right. There would be pro-Ukraine applause, anti-Ukraine booing. And then the one kind of nuanced thing I'll point out here is you had pro-life applause, kind of for when Nikki Haley was talking about this, and then you had pro-life applause for when Mike Pence was talking. But it was something that I felt like my head was on a swivel at times. Yeah. And obviously, every campaign flooded the zone with its supporters, right? But I think, even just in my row, people were very confused. Are we supposed to be booing right now? Are we supposed to be clapping?
It's such a great observation. I'm so glad you wrote this because, and if you were watching at home, you may have gotten the impression, for instance, I think it was most evident during the Ukraine exchange. Vivek Ramaswamy says, we shouldn't spend one more dollar over there. We should be protecting our own border. And there's a huge cheer. And then Mike Pence and Nikki Haley say, wait a minute, you don't know what you're talking about. We got to support our allies. And there's a huge cheer for that. And you may have thought at home that one side of the room was cheering Vivek and the other side was cheering Nikki and Pence. But no, it was the same people. The exact same people were cheering both sides.
Yeah, it was very weird. I will say Vivek's people were probably the loudest throughout. After I wrote my piece, I wrote this on my phone as it was dying on the debate floor. I didn't think this would be kind of some profound thing, but I've done some more digging afterwards. And there were a ton of young people in the debate, in part because YAF brought a lot of young people. Yes. College Republicans brought a lot of young people. Turning Point brought a lot of young people. So the crowd was very raucous and rambunctious towards the beginning. I felt like it tapered off, in terms of kind of people wanted to get out of there. I will say this is a take probably no one will agree with. It was good that they banned alcohol in there. I think that crowd was already pre-gaming pretty extensively. And that crowd, while drunk, I think it would have been a horrible experience for people watching at home because it would have been more like a sports game than, presidential debate.
Matt, we had alcohol where I was sitting, so next time you should just
the
hang out with me.
If they weren't, he's like Larry, they were not able to, get the maybe I hope not Bud Light that was being offered there. But
no, there was no Bud Light in that room. I assure you.
It's a serious thing. Running for president is a serious thing. I think you saw some of the candidates kind of really feed into this kind of audience reaction, though, right?
Yeah.
Christie, basically, the way I described it was his attitude was, your boos mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer. He was welcoming them. He said at one point, boos are protected by the Constitution. And the audience, they know what to do. They booed him heavily. Asa Hutchinson was the other one who was booed. One guy, though, who I noticed was never booed, Doug Burgum, right? He's coming there off an ankle or an ACL injury. Remember, there was that one point they just applauded when they said his name. They're like, and Doug Burgum. Everyone's like,
right.
They
were just thrilled he was there. Although he does need a little bit of plucking on the eyebrows, but I'm going to give him a pass on that.
You're totally right to have seen that, though.
Matt Foldi, thank you. I appreciate you validating my own observation that it was a very schizophrenic night. And at some point, our party does need to resolve which side of these issues we're on. Thank you, sir. We got to leave it there. That's it for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. In the meantime, I'll see you on the radio.